Hey, welcome to the Dear Creator YouTube channel. I am Danny Daniela, your self-investing storyteller, and I'm excited about today's episode because we're going to do my favorite thing in life, and that is to play games, playing games all through life. That's what I do. And yesterday was game night with the family, and I'm just inspired to play some games with you all in a workshop type theme. Fun. Absolutely so much fun because here's what's happening here, guys. Everything is coming together for my good. I love thinking. I love laughing. I love to learn people. I love to understand why we think the way that we do. I love engaging in this life and feeling the air and being able to see and to touch and to hear and to think, to create. Okay. So I'm creating an experience here for both of us, for you watching, all of your friends watching. I know it's a big group on the other side just watching this game experience. And so this is what's so much fun. I am taking some content from the internet. I have 3 random pieces of content that I'm going to share with you all. And there's going to be a game assigned to each piece of content. I know. You guys are like, oh, this is what I've been living for. I know. I've been living for this too, because this is what I'm going to do for a lot of the YouTube shows here. This is what's going to make it so fun for me to show up and think and to be thoughtful. So I'm going to show these 3 clips one at a time, and we're going to have an assignment. So you can choose to do all of them. You can choose to do one of them. But the goal is we are practicing. We are engaging with our minds. We are looking at content in a more intentional way. So maybe at the end of this, you might still have the same feelings or triggers, or you might not be inspired, but the purpose is for us to practice. And so we can take these 3 random pieces of content and we can use them to inspire us to tell a different story, to inspire us to think on the good, to inspire just a different narrative. Or we can use this to apply it to our own life. Maybe this helps shift a perspective for us. Maybe it doesn't. Maybe it allows us to dig inside of ourselves and say, there's a person in the universe that thinks this way, and I want to show a difference. There's lots and lots of things that we can do with the content that we consume, and this is where we're going to practice. So everyone get ready for the workshop. Yes, it's the workshop. I'm going to call it the workshop. Okay, now the first clip I'm going to share with you all is from a creator named Christian A. Smith. So Christian A. Smith, let's look at their YouTube page because I want to make sure that if you do resonate with any of the content that's shared here and you want to go to their page, that you are in the right direction, because I'm using their content in order to create content, but this content does not belong to me. So I'm hoping that they're okay with me using this as a part of engagement, but also if anyone is interested, and also if anyone is interested in their content, they can reach them. So Christian A. Smith in their Instagram bio says that they're a community builder, a founder, and a pastor. And from what I know about this content creator challenges a lot of theologies and our typical understanding of theology. So if you go to church and you learn this one thing, this content creator is focused on that. So let's go ahead and watch Christian A. Smith's video, and then I'm going to share the game with you. First, actually, rewind. Okay, here's the game for Christian's video. We're looking for any bias detecting. Okay, this game is called the bias detector. And so for this clip, we're looking for any clear opinions, assumptions, or biases expressed by the speaker. And then once we look at the clip, I want you to take a moment and identify and explain how those opinions or biases or assumptions influences the message and whether you agree or disagree with it. I'll repeat that at the end, but let's just focus on this part of the game. Is we're looking for any clear opinions, assumptions, or biases. Let me know in the comments what you all come up with. And here is the video.
Construct some harmful theology.
Soul ties are so real, and I'm going to give you 5 signs to identify whether or not you have a soul tie.
She actually provided 6 signs. I'm going to do 2 things in this video. First, I'm going to address one of the 6 signs she provided. Second, I'm going to tell you how the Christian concept of soul ties is likely rooted in a same-sex relationship. I'll address the other 5 signs she provided with Jasmine's garden. The info is on the screen. Check the caption for more details. Here it is. The one sign I'm going to address now.
Number 4, you kind of depend on their validation. Like, you want their approval so bad, even after the breakup or even after that person's no longer in your life. You make life decisions based off of what their opinions are of you. Say, for instance, that person didn't like you with short hair. You go try this new look and you're like, that person wouldn't like this. Why is that person still on your mind?
Can I say this and still be loved? If you're dependent on external validation, that's not a soul tie. That's low self-esteem. It's a sign you have an emotional deficit. Many of you are indoctrinated to believe that fulfillment is found in getting married and having kids. So you seek fulfillment by forming anxious attachments with romantic partners, when fulfillment actually starts from within. But somebody was supposed to teach you that. And finally, the only reference to anything resembling a soul tie in the Bible is found in the relationship between David and Jonathan. 1 Samuel 18:1 says that David and Jonathan's souls were knit together. Now, some faith leaders will tell you that David and Jonathan is a sign that soul ties can be platonic, but soul most likely isn't the best translation of the Hebrew term used in this text. In case you didn't know, Hebrew is the original language of the Old Testament. The Hebrew term nephesh, which is translated as soul, really means a person's entire being, including their body. So a more accurate translation of the text is that David and Jonathan's entire beings were knit together, including their bodies. Sounds like a romantic relationship to me. What about you?
Okay, so I want to recap. Today's game for this assignment, for this content creator's content, is detecting any biases. So we were looking for any clear opinions, assumptions, or biases expressed by the speaker. If this is something that you were able to detect, I would love for you all to engage in the comments. I'm not going to give too much commentary. I'm actually going to shift and share 3 comments from today's video. And I want you to also look for that same idea, any clear opinions, assumptions, or biases. Now, what are we going to do with the identification of any of these? Okay, so if you were able to identify any biases, I want you to clearly communicate what that bias is. And maybe you do this in your journal assignment at home. Maybe you participate in the comment box below. If not, you can click on the like button because that also helps you comment. But anyway, if you are able to identify a clear balance, I want you to also share how does it influence the message and whether you agree or disagree. Now, here are 3 comments from today's video that we can take a look at and look for that same theme. This commenter says, now I got to find out who this Jonathan is. Is this the same David that had Bathsheba's husband killed so he sleep with her? And then a content creator says, yep, Jonathan was the son of King Saul. He and David had a very intense relationship. This next comment says, the danger in calling it a soul tie is that it removes personal accountability and doesn't evoke deep introspection into root trauma of why we made the choice. And then this third one says, welcome to Bible study, where we rearrange all the misguided spiritual furniture in your head. The doors of the church are open. I don't know if there's any biases. I don't know if there's any assumptions that might not work for any case, but I want us to really respond to any of the comments. And I will share here just a little bit because I like to talk. Okay. These are very interesting comments. One that I want to call out is this first one is, now I got to find out who this Jonathan is. I think this is where me as a viewer, as someone consuming the content, this is the approach I would take. When someone has content and I'm not sure about what they're saying, I try to go to whatever source they're using or the source that helps me get a full picture of whatever it is that I'm consuming. And the question is, where does the content creator pull all of this information from? So sometimes we have narratives and we are consuming content in reels now where we're only looking for a few seconds. And so I would say the content like this should inspire us to do research if we are going to have a very strong opinion or passion around it. If we're really against it or we're really support it, we should be able to say, this is where it's from and this is how it's supported. So we're looking for that evidence, right, of truth. The funny thing about finding this evidence of truth is I don't really know how anyone can declare what is and what's not for some of these narratives that we see online. So for instance, here we can reference the Bible and we can reference that there's a Hebrew word that may or may not mean exactly what the content creator is sharing here, but it also leaves room for us to understand that we don't know the entire story. So is there room for questions? Is it okay to have questions, even if you are sitting in the believer's point of view? Are you comfortable with having questions? Do you not need questions? Now, this is something that I started to identify as far as this faith relationship, this self-awareness journey on with faith is some people have enough faith where they don't need all the questions. And I think that is very interesting because it seemingly looks like those who have a lot of questions don't believe in God or don't have enough faith. But I would challenge that to say is if I believe in anything, if I was to believe this or not believe it, I need to be able to at least go through that journey of questions to understand where I sit. Because sometimes I sit in a place where who has the answer? How do you know this is true? And if I can sit there, it also gives room for me to say, well, if no one really knows the answer, I don't have to live by this truth if it's not absolutely a truth. And that absolute truth is something I think a lot of us, journey through. So I'm interested in the comments for this first part of the game. Let me know your insights in the comment box below. And now we're going to check out video 2. So video 2 is coming from a creator named Julian de Maduros, and forgive me, Julian, if I'm saying your name incorrectly. So he says he has daily quotes and reflections. See his stories for what he's reading. So not much here. I think it's very simple, very clean. Julian just shares what he's reading about, what inspires him, and he comes back to the camera and gives us some insight. So let's see what he says, but not before we get our game. So here's the game for this one. Okay, for this next clip, we are going to identify 3 feeling words to our initial impression or reaction to what the creator is sharing. So what I want you to notice is that you're going to try to find in the first beginning of the clip, whenever you start to watch the video, are there any 3 words that come up to you? And this might take a little bit because you just got the video started. You're also trying to listen, so a lot's going on. But try to find those 3 words because it's a challenge. Okay. Then by the end, we want to see, are those 3 words still true? Do you want to change those 3 words? So write down the 3 words as soon as the video starts. Try to get what you're feeling from it, what you assuming, what's your initial reaction using 3 words. Then by the time the clip ends, I want to see if there's any change in those words, or do you still have those same 3 words? All right, so let's go ahead and watch the next clip.
Here's how you know somebody's intelligent. And this is a wonderful little observation from the inventor Nikola Tesla, who, by the way, argued that the most difficult thing was to think independently in a world full of conformists. But he put it like this. He said, intelligence follows 2 main character traits. Number 1, you like being alone. He said, you can only really have original ideas when you're by yourself, when you focus. And so the number 1 trait of intelligent people is that they enjoy their own company. Number 2, he said, intelligent people don't need to be liked by everybody. They don't care what other people think necessarily. This means that they might be accused of antisocial behavior, but what it really means is that they have a small group of friends, an inner circle, people they trust and can converse with intelligently. And so Tesla said that an intelligent person likes to be alone and keeps only a small group of friends. That's intelligence, according to Nikola Tesla.
All right, so in the comments or in your journal assignment, I want you to be able to share what are those 3 words at the beginning of the video and at the end of the video. So what is the purpose? This is really going to give us an idea to reflect on our immediate reactions and track how or if there are any shifts in our impressions. And this is really how we can see how content moves us one way or the other. This is the talent that I think a lot of comedians have, is there's this timing. You might get a stage set up for you where you think one way and then they shift you to the other direction. That's why comedians are so funny, okay, because they're shifting. But life is funny. And we can also start to see the humor in the way that content might move us one way or the other. We might have started this feeling in the beginning of a conversation thinking like, I'm feeling good, I'm feeling, happy. And then we might consume content and then like, I feel, okay, for lack of better words, because onomatopoeia is the way I go. But it might start to drag you. It could also maybe bring you up. Let's look how words can move us. That's the idea. So take maybe this piece of content or any other piece of content, but we're just going through the journey. All right, here's another piece of content unrelated that we're going to look at, but here is the goal for this one. we are going to practice alternative perspectives. Okay? So here's the task. While we watch this clip, imagine someone with an opposite viewpoint is responding. And I want you to note the counter arguments or alternative interpretations of the content that the person is sharing. Now, for this one, the creator and that's speaking or the author is different than the person who posted it. So I'm going to just share the person who posted the page, is the type of content that they want to share with their audience. But we also are going to be listening at the author in the actual video and taking on their statements. Since it's not the actual content creator themselves, we're looking at some shared content by this creator's platform. So let's look at this creator's platform before we go into the next clip. Okay, this content is brought to us by someone named Shaka Zulu. I'm not sure if that's really their name, honestly. It could be. And their page is called Shaka Bars. On their site, it says that they're an entrepreneur and to share, that they just share posts and stories. And so we're going to look at one of their posts and stories and we're going to make an assignment out of it. So again, we're thinking about the alternative perspective as it relates to the author in the video, the creator, the one who's speaking, sharing his content. That's what we're looking at right now. So let's take a look, see what we come up with. So much fun. I know you're having so much fun. Absolutely. Okay. Remember, we're looking at all types of content. Oh, I didn't share this one. Actually, let me go back to the other one. So for the last video, these are some comments that were underneath that video, and I want to put this in here. So this one says, smart people associate themselves with equally smart individuals, and by conversing with each other, they self-ascend to superior levels of intellect like a perpetual machine. Interesting. What are your thoughts? This next one says, most people are full of themselves and can't handle conversation without talking badly about other people. To me, that's a sign of ignorance to bad. Talk about others as if you are not important enough to just enjoy the company you are with. I have lots of things I want to say, but I'm practicing not saying everything after I say stuff. But I want to know what you all are thinking in the comments. This third one is, it's also a privilege. I agree with him, but some people don't have a choice but socialize to survive. So here I am looking at comments of people who are engaged with their content. I want to hear from you all. I want to know what this audience thinks about the content that we're looking at today, because we are looking at it in an intentional way. Period. Okay, so now let's look at this next video I'm going to share with you. And then this content creator is Shaka Zulu. So I don't know if that's truly his name, okay, but the content page is Shaka Bars. And all it says here is that they share post stories. And I've seen some of this content from this creator. This is not the actual author in the video. This is the content creator sharing someone else's thoughts on their page. So this is the type of content that they're into or that they want to share or to promote conversation in their comments. And we're going to promote it here because content. Okay, let's look at this now.
You don't really want to talk with me at all about Jesus because I will slice you up. That's the way they raised me to be. What the church taught you, what the church taught me, that we are made to drudge through this hell on earth for the sins of the Father, who lovingly, that's the key word here, lovingly, second key word, sacrificed his only lit up child for your sins, which still exist and for which you still go to judgment for alone. It is the largest fucking scam you will ever hear in all of human history.
It's a little bit different than what you said right there.
Oh, it's exactly what the church taught us. This is a blood religion where the dead come back to life. What other lure in the human cycle has exactly the same recipe? Vampirism.
No.
It's exactly the same. All of it is.
So Jesus was
surrender your redemption to them. That is vampirism.
Okay, so that's our other random clip. And here we are. The alternative perspective. What is the alternative perspective? So you are considering anyone who would have counter arguments. So we kind of hear someone else in the background and they say, nah. So there's probably a full clip out there with a full story, someone engaging, but we're looking at this particular clip. And so now you're using your imagination. How do you assume, or what type of counter arguments do you think someone who has a different perspective than the author or creator in this clip? and write those out. Practice thinking about what the other angle would be. Okay? Now, here's our last clip for today, and here's the last assignment. But before we get to that, let me remember that I wanted to share some comments at each video. So here's the first comment. As we understand that the future is artificial, we just shall be good humans with good manners. It doesn't actually matter which religion anyone follows, because in their nutshell, they all teach generally good things. We actually can't know what are correct. Take it easy with an open mind and be a good human. Good deeds bring generally good karma. This next comment in response to this video says, only the triggered who never thought for themselves will find an issue with this. Did you really choose your beliefs, or were they just indoctrinated into you since birth? There's some things I want to say, but I'm not going to say it because I'm practicing. Okay, this last one says, the King James Version of the Bible is a perversion of the actual Ethiopian original Bible. King James was a Satanist. They changed the name from Yeshu Christo to Jesus Christ and painted him white. The actual Black Jesus said, don't believe in him, but believe in the Father above all, and to fast and find the voice of the Father inside. Lots of things happening. Lots of things are happening in these random comments and clips that I'm sharing with you all today. But what are we going to do? We're practicing. Okay. We are practicing alternative perspectives. So we can do this with the actual clip itself. Or if you found any feelings or thoughts from the comments that I shared from this video, let me know in the comments what you're thinking. But most importantly, take out your journal and just write. I just want to write. I want to feel all of my emotions out through writing as well. Okay. Now, last clip for the day. What are we going to do with this one? This one actually is coming from a page. His name is Dr. Delataro L. McNeil. He advocates for mental and healing, and he's a proud father and speaking mentor, media personality, and a top 1% of Hall of Fame speaking, a USA Today WSJ bestseller. Okay, and he is healing with integrity. So we're going to watch a clip from the Dr. McNeil, and here's what we're going to do. We're going to reverse roles. Okay, so as we watch this clip with Dr. McNeil, I want you to think as if you embody this mindset and the motivations behind it and the belief systems. And I want you to choose statements like, I would feel, I would believe, as if you're in their shoes. So we're going to watch this clip, and then I want you to go onto this journey with your creative mind. And I want you to think, what else do you think about Mr. McNeil? If you don't have a personal relationship with him, you don't know him, this is your first time seeing him as I have, I want you to say, if I was Dr. McNeil, based off this clip, this is the type of things that I would feel and that I would believe. And I want you to test those things. And as you say those out your mouth, you know, what gives the premises? What is it about the messaging or maybe what you see in the clip that gives you those words? Okay. So we're trying to understand perspectives that are different from our own, and maybe they're the same, but we're also going to find nuanced views of the content. So let's say you do embody, you know, this doctor, you have the same feelings. I want you to understand why that is. And so that's our last assignment for today. I hope this was fun. I'm going to clean it up because I tried to play this with people on the show, and I'm going to continue this, but it was getting all like, okay. So I'm going to practice that with you all. I'm going to just practice here, clean it up. And then as I have more guests come on the show and we play these games, hopefully they will make more sense and it'll be more fun and more creative, because I want us to talk about deep things. I also want us to do it in a playful way and live life and be joyful. Okay. That's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for evidence that we can have fun and have deep conversations anywhere I go. Let's go ahead and look at this final clip for today. And remember to leave your comments in the comment boxes below. Let's look at what Dr. McNeil has for us as we go into this role reversal.
Bias is a psychological phenomenon that basically helps us be right. Whatever you believe, your brain is going to help you believe whatever you feel you believe.
There it is.
So confirmation bias says this: once you have a strongly held belief about a thing, your brain will show you more proof and evidence that shows you that the thing that you believe is correct. And at the same time, hide from you any evidence to the contrary. If you believe he's a dog, if you believe she's a player, if you believe that, your brain is so intelligent. Your brain's going to go on assignment to find all the proof to make you right. He is a dog. She is a dog. She is a she is a gold digger, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Your brain is trying to make you right. So it's gonna show you, hey, here's more evidence and proof that how you feel is right. So confirmation bias says if you think all white people are a certain way, they're gonna show you, your brain's gonna show you all the whack white people, and all the amazing white people are gonna be hidden from you. So here's the question: who and what is being hidden from you because you have a strongly held belief that is making you right, but it's not making you happy?
There's so many things that I want to say when I'm practicing, but I just want to say this one thing, just one. That's a really good question. Okay, at the end, that's a really good question, but I want us to play the game. But listen to that question though, like who, okay? Like what's hiding from you? What are you making hide from you based off of what you're choosing to believe in? And I'm practicing to y'all, but that conversation, just really quick before we go into that time, that idea of consider yourself being a Black person in the United States of America. And for a long time, all the content that you consume about people who look differently than you is that they are out to get you, that they hate you, that they're mean. So every time you go out into the world and you see someone who looks like that, you get angry or you get triggered. Also, consider that you are a Black person in the United States of America and you grew up and you understood that there are people who look this color, who have done wrong things, but there are also other people in the world who have not done those things and you haven't experienced that. And so you look for the good. There's another thing. You can also realize that there was a guy named, there's a clip. I think I'm going to put the clip here. And, why did I forget his name? He's a famous boxer. Okay, so when we hear that clip, it's easy for us to resonate with the author, especially if you sit in that same space and view the world as he, to say, yeah, like I'm going to be afraid. But I think these are some of the places in the content that we have to challenge ourselves and say, that sounds really good poetically, and I definitely do understand it. But will it serve me if I lived in that mindset? If I cannot find a different approach to look at life? And so that's what I thought about when I was listening to So it's just a little bit of thought that I wanted to share with you guys. I wanted this to be a clear game so someone could just pick it up and just go through the game. But of course, I wanted to say something because, thoughts. Okay, let's get back to the game. So you are doing the role reversal. You are considering that you are embodying this content creator, this author of this message. How do you feel? And you're using the statements, I would feel this and I would think this. So we're going to go beyond this clip. And I just want you to write a few sentences of how you think this person feels and thinks. And I want you to explore where you get those from. Now, to close this video out, we are going to look at the last few comments and then we're going to say goodbye. So here's what someone says in response to this creator's content. Love this. I used to believe I would always be sad on Fridays because I had trauma on a Friday. I now know I am in control of how I feel. This next person says, that's what religion does. Beliefs are so dangerous, especially when they involve our emotions. Many beliefs make you hate other humans, and I dare say that's dangerous. I got a lot to say. The next one says, a human mind is not designed like a computer. This makes it as if the human brain has some sort of algorithm that controls how we perceive things, like on social media. A human mind always has choices. We choose what we want to believe and we choose what to ignore. That is why everyone is responsible for their choices. Shifting responsibility is not going to make consequences any less our fault. It will only delay healing. Information bias is a choice from start to finish. Accountability is the cure. Wow. Hello. Wow. That was so much fun. I have so many thoughts. I'm going to write them down because like thinking, practicing, right? And I'm so interested in anyone, just one person leaving a yellow heart at the end of this video. If you made it through just listening to me, maybe you didn't even write one thing down. Maybe you just wanted to see how it makes sense of these things and you are just here. I want to first thank you for staying this long on a video because I appreciate you. I understand that I'm a talker and I'm just glad that you like to listen to people talk. And if you could just put a yellow heart to let me know. If not a yellow heart, please click on the like button, comment or subscribe so everyone else can engage in the fun party night. We're going to have game night every week, okay? But we're also going to think. We're thinking and we're gaming all through life, okay? So I hope that you had a good time. I hope that this is going to be clear to you guys throughout this process. I want to do these workshops. It's a lot easier to do it when there's me plus other people and not just the camera when I do the workshops. But bringing this to YouTube and trying to make this make sense here is what my personal challenge is. I'm trying new things because in life, you got to try new things. So I'm going to try this and I'm going to get better at it. And that's what I encourage you all to do. If there's something that you want to try, maybe it's just thinking more healthier. Maybe it's eating more healthier. Maybe it's being intentional. Maybe it's finding kind words to say to the people that you love or you say that you love. Maybe it's thinking about the opportunity that you have to breathe, to think, to live, to exist in a different way. I want to challenge you to practice today. Until next time, hold on to you as much as you can. Hold on to your health, your well-being, and your mind. Be mindful. Bye.